What's up, guys? Joshua Crampton here, Multigen Mindset. I want to talk to you about relationships in your 20s, especially if you're a man. And if you're a woman and you're watching this, this is equally important. You know, if you're thinking about getting a relationship in your 20s, if you're 21, 22, 23 years old, and you're considering going after a relationship, or you're working to get a girlfriend, there's something that you need to understand. And that's the amount of changes that you're going to go through from the time that you're 20 years old, from the time that you're 35 years old. There's seasons in life. Now, in the 1800s and in the 1900s, people got married at 12 years old and 13 years old, and there was this urgency to procreate. And oftentimes in this modern culture, especially millennials and the later generations, we're waiting longer and longer and longer and longer to get married. Now it's not so much of a strange thing to be 35 years old and not married without kids. Whereas if this was the 50s and the 60s, you would be considered a complete failure because you're 35 years old and you don't have a family. Well, what's happened is we've extended our lives to where we can live easily over 90 years old. And in the 18 and the 1900s, they lived to be 30 to 40, 50 years old at most. And so there was a shorter lifespan, half the lifespan that we have now. So the urgency to get married and to have children at 15, 16, and 17 years old was extremely powerful for procreating to extend the human race. Whereas today, because of our health and our abilities to live longer, the urgency is not so much there any longer. Now, what's important about understanding dating in your youth is not only considering that you need to give yourself the freedom to reinvent yourself over and over and over and over again, rediscovering at every new chapter of your life who you are and how you're going to show up in the world. And when you lock yourself into a relationship with somebody, it often limits you to your ability to expand and to go and to do things. And so, on one hand, relationships bring stability and consistency, and the word helpmate needs to be considered because, just managing a household, for example, from groceries to dishes to laundry to cleaning to paying bills, all of that is made easier when you have a partner. Sharing life with somebody is a very beautiful thing, and having a helpmate to get your back is extremely powerful, but you need to judge and juggle these things. Freedom to go and explore and expand and to grow and to reinvent yourself and to learn who you are versus being trapped into a relationship that you're obligated to is not, you got to judge those things. The importance for you to become the highest version of yourself means that maybe it's best for you to wait until you're 35 to 39 before actually considering getting married and starting to have kids. Because that gives you that, especially if you're a man, that gives you that chunk of your life from 20s to 35 to 40 to establish your businesses, establish your wealth, put yourself out into the world and discover who you are. And if your core focus is getting a girlfriend and getting married and having kids, that's wonderful. That may be the blueprint that you were given from your parents and given from your family. And the idea of a blueprint is very important. You need to understand that we are given blueprints from our family and the things that we watch and the things that we appreciate. We are given blueprints. And until you're 35 to 38 to 40, you're most often living out a blueprint that's not yours. For example, how many college kids graduate but then don't actually use the education because they're so passionate about something else that the education that they received isn't valuable to them because they were getting that education based upon the blueprint of their parents. So it's very important to understand blueprints and to create your own blueprint and to understand what blueprints you've been given and that you've inherited and what blueprints you actually want for yourself. This has been Joshua Crampton. Thank you.